Hi, how are you, darling? It's nice to see you. If this is the first time we are seeing each other, I'm Ashley Adamson. It's good to meet you. I am in Paris right now, and I'm feeling pretty good. I wanted to make this video because I suddenly felt a rush of self-love and care for my body, for myself, and I have been feeling a lot of loneliness recently. So I wanted to make a video right now as I'm experiencing the pickup and that feeling of self-partnership, of self-love, self-care, and illuminate my experience or share my experience to illuminate something in your own experience. And maybe kind of get that back and forth, that feeling between you and me shared. So, I wanted to dig into that and just talk about it. I just ate a lot of French cuisine, followed by carrot cake. And I walked back to my apartment and laid down for a bit because, oh my God, I'm actually pretty jet lagged and exhausted from eating all that food. And the thing that I've done different today is that I've really kind of dressed up, and not for anyone, but for myself. And that's kind of a funny thing for me to do because typically when it's just for myself, I don't dress up. I don't put on makeup or anything like that because I find it to be sort of like a waste of time, something where I'm just like, well, what am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for? And I think that sometimes because I'm not taking advantage of that, I sometimes forget how much more beautiful I feel when I do take care of my hair, my makeup, my look, my dress, my outfit. Like doing these things helps me see the me in the mirror that I know that I am deep down. And I know it sounds superficial, but doing this makeup and doing myself up makes me feel better. And it's not because I just like feel like I look better. It's because I think I'm harder on myself for when I don't look as good. I don't know, like how do you feel when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and like judging yourself and perceiving yourself, and like what kind of goes on with you in the mirror when you look at yourself? Sometimes you want to hide yourself from the mirror. I don't know if you get that feeling. Sometimes you want to embrace yourself. And so doing this exercise of taking care of myself, putting on makeup and all of that has been really kind of helpful in cultivating this. And the funny thing about doing this kind of exercise is that you do it and you may not feel the return of your energy investment until later. It's like your subconscious needs some time to process before it's able to return what you've given it. And I think this is a very subtle thing that you or me, we may forget about or not notice. You don't always get the emotional return of what you put in immediately. And I forget about this sometimes. So I'm like, well, I don't want to put in the time. I don't want to put in the energy to getting made up and looking good and all of that because I got to go work. I got to go design something. I got to go read something. I got to learn something. I got to go somewhere. You know, like life can pick you up and you feel that pull or anxiety or need to go do something in your life, right? And now that I'm on a vacation day and I have some time to invest in myself, I'm getting that return of investment 3 or 4 hours later. And this was like super important for my own transition when I was not 5 years in, which is where I'm at now, because I would put in a lot of effort and energy to find myself and to feel these parts, this mysterious part of myself. And maybe this is, I don't know if you're transitioning or not, but maybe this is something to think about. When you're trying to discover yourself, when you're trying to embrace the power, the thing that you know you hold deep within, like, do you know that you're a powerful person? Do you know that there is something within you that is waiting to awaken? And can you sense that? Can you feel that? Can you feel that lotus ready to blossom inside your heart? Can you feel that higher self ready to open up and expand into the universe? Like, is that there for you? Or do you know how to access it? Are you ready to access it? And sometimes we try to consciously access it. I mean, we're in a world of the mind, right? Like, information, your cell phones, we celebrate the mind. Like, you get paid more if you're more intelligent, or you use information, things like that. And in this society where we over-index on the mind, it's very easy to default to the tools that you see around you that everyone's using as the mechanism to get through the problems that they're solving. Do you know what I mean? Like, for your problems, you will go for or over-index. The right tool for you is the tool you use most often. And so you say, well, like, my mental faculties, my mental control is maybe the one that I can use best. So you use that all the time. And I mean, don't you see people trying to think themselves out of situations, or saying, I know that I have this thinking and I can think my way through it, but I can't feel my way through it. Have you ever said to yourself, or have you ever had someone else say that to you? That's what I'm kind of talking about, is like accessing this bridge between your mind and your heart, the part of you that is trying to change how you're feeling, but for some reason you can't access that. That's where doing these things like taking care of yourself, sending signs and signatures, you have conscious control over your ability to do something that's caring for you. What is something that you know is caring for you? Maybe you don't do it that often, but you know it's absolutely 100% caring for you. That is the signal. That is the thing that you can give to your subconscious, but your subconscious may not pick it up immediately. And so you can forget about the feelings you're going to reap later, and then suddenly they come up when you're in a more formless state. Perhaps laying down, just closing your eyes and letting yourself just be more empty. It's harder to receive things when you're not empty because you're so full of your thoughts. And this is a mindfulness meditation kind of thing. If you are loading up on social media, you're just scrolling and trying to fill this empty space with more stimulation. It's very hard for you to receive anything because you're constantly full of other things. So it's like if your hand is full of stuff, how do you receive anything? It's just going to fall out of your hand, right? So this practice is essentially this. You do something to signal to your subconscious whatever you want to signal to your subconscious, whether that is, you're beautiful, I love you, you're worth taking care of, writing these things down, doing actions that signal this. For me, it was making myself look pretty today. And then allowing space and time for you to unfill yourself, for you to empty up, and to allow a formlessness, a shape of being that is malleable for your subconscious to change shape. We often use our mind to hold the shape of who we are, and your thoughts are often the things that get in the way of your feelings because you don't let the feelings move or shape you. And if you did, then you probably wouldn't be watching this, or maybe you would. I don't know. Sometimes we can forget. We're in an information age, darling. So, I mean, it's easy to forget these things. So that's okay. But like, this is the reminder, this process of unfolding, finding that self-love, showing up as the partner for yourself, the dream partner for yourself, often involves investing in yourself to signal to your subconscious. And I think like this repeated process of doing this over and over and over again starts to reshape your mind, reshape your brain. And that's probably the most important thing, because you, me, we all have trauma, right? You have trauma, I have trauma. And how do you allow and move your body and mind to move forward to a better baseline, a better operating system that's upgraded so that you just default to more self-care, more self-love. You speak from a place of more confidence. You have more confidence. You make decisions that are based based from a place of self-love and self-care. Like, this is going to make you so much more resilient, so much more powerful. And if you are single like me, attract you, hopefully someone that can also either be a friend or a partner or a lover or what have you, that also sees the value. Because I mean, like, who doesn't find someone, like, how are you not going to find someone more attractive by the fact that they love themselves, that they care for themselves, that they value themselves, right? Like, wouldn't you value that person more if you could see that they value themselves? And I don't mean like ego, like, oh, that's compensation for not valuing yourself. You know, the over-reliance of the ego, the idea of the self rather than the actual self, the formless self, the self that takes shape before your eyes, the self that is in its being now versus its being in concept. Like, to me, to you, I am Ashley Adamson, but to me, I'm not Ashley Adamson. To me, I am just a being, and that softness and gentleness that I felt here in loving myself and feeling that love coming back and forth gave me this experience that was not something that I could identify with. It's just something I can identify, if that makes sense. Like, being able to identify that feeling, which you can recognize as self-love and self-care, is the feeling you want to nurture. This feeling of, I know who I am, and because I know who I am X, Y, and Z. That's more ego-based. It's not necessarily bad, but it's just more ego-based, and it's a little harder to be present and a little harder to be self-loving when you're in that space, which is a fine space to be in a day-to-day setting when you have to show up and you have to be a certain way. But don't you want a little bit more space to let go of these things that you hold on to so tightly and to allow yourself to flow and be more open? That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about here and wanting to hopefully help you realize and find for yourself. So thank you for joining me today. I do this for free, but as a service. But if you would like to support me, because I believe that people that create value should be supported, then please support me by joining and subscribing my YouTube channel. I appreciate if you buy me a tea. Thank you to all my supporters who do buy me a tea. And for those people that also support me even greater, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go on a bike ride. Now it's stopped raining, which is weird for summer in Paris. And I will see you soon. Bye.